Most people are using AI completely wrong. And that is why getting ahead of 99% of people today is shockingly easy. I've worked inside some of the biggest AI companies in the world like Microsoft and xAI. And I've seen not only how this technology gets used by the top 1%, but how AI is created. Here's the reality. The gap between the people who get AI and the ones who don't, it's exploding. So in this video, I'm giving you the exact 7-step roadmap to master AI like the top 1%, even if you're a beginner. And that number 7, it's a game changer. I'll teach you how to speak AI's actual language, plus I'll show you some advanced prompts that make AI admit when it's guessing, get AI to quality control itself, and get non-generic responses tailored to your needs. After watching this video, you'll never use AI the same way again. First, we need to understand the problem. The biggest advantage and the biggest danger of AI is that it learns from everyone. On one hand, it's trained on the brilliance of Elon Musk and Sam Altman, but on the other side, it's trained on millions of average emails, bad prompting, Reddit threads, and blog posts. And AI works on the principle of token probability, which simply means AI is just a mathematical equation that is great at guessing. It takes your input, samples millions of patterns, compresses them into numbers, and predicts the most likely next word. So when you say the tallest mountain in the world is, AI checks all the patterns it has from reading the internet, and rarely does it find Mount Fuji following the sentence, or Mount Kilimanjaro, or the Matterhorn, or Mount Denali, or Mount K2. AI could look at Wikipedia to see that the number is highest for Mount Everest at 8848 meters. But even if it didn't have access to that data, it would still correctly say Mount Everest. Because in all the data that human beings have created, the sentence, the tallest mountain in the world, is always followed by Mount Everest. So if we as humanity collectively lied to AI and said the new tallest mountain in the world is Mount Jupiter, not Mount Everest, eventually it will believe it. AI doesn't know objective reality. It knows the best possible prediction based on the input. So the problem is that most people are giving AI random, unstructured inputs, like help me write an email. This results in an average of averages. This happens because without clear direction, the AI just spins a roulette wheel between millions of different email patterns like business email, personal email, sales email, and so on. It's literally guessing. So at the end, it lands on the most generic, safe, statistically probable answer. So if you want the top 1% output, you have to rig the wheel. You have to force the AI off the average path onto the top 1% path. Let's take a resume as our example for today. Most people just type, rewrite my resume for this job, paste their old resume and the job description. The AI looks at all of its training data and pushes out generic fluff. The top 1% start by defining a clear persona. You need to filter the AI's data set. You tell the AI, act as a top 1% executive resume strategist and ATS optimization expert who has helped candidates secure interviews at Fortune 50 companies. When you ask the AI to act like a specific professional, you're giving it a filter. Instead of pulling information from all the data it's trained on, it focuses on a specific field. That makes the response more accurate, more factual, and relevant to the topic. Then you can add in context on what exactly you want. You can define the exact objective that it needs to achieve. Like, your objective is to rewrite my resume to the top 1% quality while maximizing applicant tracking system match for the specific role I'm targeting, without sacrificing clarity, credibility, or senior level signal. And you can apply the same framework for different use cases. Like if you want to write like a journalist, or a lawyer, or an engineer, or a therapist. Just say it. And just doing this puts you ahead of 50% of users. Why? Because you're pushing AI towards the top end instead of getting the same average answers everyone else is getting. Now to get to the top 25%, the golden rule of prompting is simple. Ambiguity is the enemy. If you don't tell the AI what not to do, it will just guess. This is where you level up your results. You need to be as descriptive as possible because the more detail you give, the less the AI has to guess. And AI works really well on clear instructions. So you have to eliminate any room for misunderstanding or hallucinations. If you don't, on your resume, it will invent sections that you didn't want or write a cheesy resume summary. This happens because AI is generative in nature. So we need to put the constraints on what to generate and what not to generate. To further tailor our resume towards our specific needs and not create a generic resume, we need to add in our constraints. Like, do not include a summary, profile, or objective section at the top of the resume. The resume must start directly with the work experience. Seniority, scope, and positioning must be conveyed through experience, ownership, and outcomes, not a summary paragraph. Use an ATS safe structure only. No tables, graphics, columns, icons, or visual elements. And this will completely change the response and push you into the top 25% of users. And now in the next step, you need to decide what exactly you want the AI to do. In our case, we know that we wanted to maximize the ATS keyword match. And we need to think of what exactly the end result should look like using our primary goals. Maximize ATS keyword and competency match for the provided job description. Provide a clean, human-readable resume trusted by senior recruiters and hiring managers. Position me clearly at the correct seniority level for this role. This results in a much more specific resume that is tailored to your situation, and it helps you get ahead of thousands of generic resumes that your competitors will be submitting. Now, this is where we leave the amateurs behind. We're going to tell the AI how to think before it writes. Most people just paste the job description and hope for the best. This results in what I call keyword stuffing. The AI blindly sprinkles keywords in. The top 1% set clear operating rules. Parse the job description to extract core skills and competencies, domain-specific language, tools, platforms and technologies, seniority, leadership, and people management signals. Business outcomes the role is accountable for. Then prioritize exact match and close variant keywords from the job description. Embed keywords naturally inside outcome-driven bullets with no keyword stuffing. Optimize this for ATS parsing and a 6 to 8 second recruiter scan. This stops AI from being a parrot, and it helps us in mapping your skills to the company's problems, not just their keywords. And like I said, AI has no understanding of where to stop and what not to do. AI might over-explain things or dive into irrelevant details. It might write long, flowery paragraphs using dead words like delve or spearheaded or transformative landscape. And this is the biggest mistake you can do, because the moment recruiters see this, they immediately know a bot wrote this. This happens because large language models are optimized for completion. They don't have a consciousness of their own. And this is where limitations come in. Think of these as like boundaries. Like every bullet must answer at least one. What changed because of my work? Why did this matter to the business or the user? And how was success measured? We wanted to convert responsibilities into outcomes, decisions, trade-offs, or impact. We wanted to quantify impact wherever credible and use strong action verbs, eliminate vague or generic phrasing. Bullets must be 1 to 2 lines max and maintain factual integrity. Do not invent metrics, scope, or experience. If you don't put in these limitations, AI will make something up. This helps you pass the sniff test, basically stripping away the AI accent and preserving the soul of your resume. And the end result is that you get a document which actually feels like it was written by a serious professional, precise and uncompromising. But we aren't done yet. Most people stop here, but the next step will take you to the top 10%. Because even with good rules, AI is still a black box. You see the result, but you don't see the logic behind the result. And this brings us to our final, most critical step: transparency and auditability. This step is the difference between a B+ and an A+. We want AI to keep a check on itself and correct itself. This forces AI to load critical thinking before it generates new content. It makes the rewrite smarter and justifies its decisions. This also preserves our ability to be in control and the final decision maker by being able to easily audit the decisions that AI just made. This is your safety net. You want the AI to list exactly which keywords and competencies it detected from the job description, which keywords it added to the resume, and which keywords it intentionally did not add to the resume and why. You can also ask AI, what data am I missing? Because in case we're missing some data, it will tell us that rather than making it up or assuming it. This step really boosts confidence in the resume and makes it real, not AI slop. Now, I'll add a link to this template in the description below for your reference. Because if you don't set a standard of excellence, the AI defaults to becoming a people pleaser. It will try to make you look good by making things up. To prevent this, you need to bake the output standard directly into the prompt. And now finally, we get to the top 1%. This is my favorite test. Most people rarely ask ChatGPT questions in a way that genuinely makes them grow. They either ask for simple tasks or seek validation in some ways. But sometimes, counter-questioning is a great strategy. For example, if you ask it, please rate me on the quality of questions I've asked you so far among all the people, the AI, it's trained to be nice. It'll most likely tell you, oh, you are amazing. But the top 1% use AI for trajectory correction. Now change the question. Ask this instead. Compared to the top 1% of experts in my field, where is my thinking weak? What am I systematically underestimating? If I continue on my current path, what is my most likely failure mode? Now this gives a much better answer. It unlocks second-order thinking. The first question seeks validation. This one seeks feedback and growth.